frankly, we've seen this time and time again, at least at Salesforce. We realize that there is a discrepancy or a breakdown, if you will, between sales and finance. And I think Kyle did a really good job of laying out where those breakdowns can happen and how the process kind of lays out and who owns what in the footprint. But when you kind of boil it down to the front office, the back office, right? Sales has a priority. They want to close as many deals as they possibly can, but finance has to deal with the stuff they've closed at the back end, right? So it creates this list of kind of friction points that we've talked about, right? And it comes to data consistency all the way down to this, just regular data handoff, right? Now, next slide, please, Kyle. I think that's exactly what drove us to create Revenue Cloud. As Kyle mentioned, it started off with just Salesforce CPQ, and we added Salesforce Billing. Revenue Cloud is the culmination of that effort, and it actually includes customer service portals as well as billing and CPQ. And the idea behind the Revenue Cloud was to really do three things, right? Transform the buying experience, right? To make that cyclical process easier in nature and give you a single point to hand off in. Help your business accelerate revenue streams. As I noted earlier, your usage components, your subscription components, when you couple that in with equipment and perpetual goods, that can get really complicated really quick. And so what we wanted to do was build a solution that could support all those different revenue models in a single footprint. And then we wanted to help scale out revenue efficiency, right? And really what Kyle's talking about limiting your touch points and really figuring out where things get handed over and how they get handed over. We wanted to optimize that efficiency across the footprint. Next slide, please, sir. To do that, to optimize the handoff, right, what we've done is we've constructed 4 different ways to integrate Revenue Cloud into your ERP system. The first one we call lead to order. Now, this is a good example where you may have multiple order entry channels coming from different systems and legacy acquisitions that all need to get down into the ERP so they can be digitally assembled, stapled together essentially, and an invoice produced. So in that example, we can hand our orders off to your ERP systems, and your ERP systems then become the source of records for billings and for cash and for revenue. As you progress down this pyramid, right, the next one is lead to invoice. Now this leverages CPQ and billing to produce an invoice or invoice data, if you will, in the system. Now you can choose to have Salesforce send the invoice to your customers, or you can take the invoice data and you can push it to your ERP system. Now that gives the ERP system information to do accounting period closes, revenue recognition, and actually run the collections process. If you go to lead to payment, we use billing to create invoices and take payments. And so then you have another handoff point in there where we can transmit invoices and payments down to the ERP system and keep that system whole and let your teams operate in the manner they're used to. The final one, right, is really lead to revenue. And this essentially makes the Salesforce system a true sub-ledger to your ERP system. And essentially what we would do is we would take your stream all the way from funnel market, right, through RevRec, and then pass general journal entries down into your ERP system. And for smaller customers, this is really the way that people are leaning as they're pulling more and more functions up into the front office. After all, billing and payments has always been a front office function, but it's been handled by a back office system. So we're just trying to change the method a little bit and give you a few easier ways to integrate that data back and forth. The next slide, please. Finally, we always prided ourselves on building a system that makes finance people successful, right? That makes finance teams successful. And so what we've done is we've surveyed our existing customers and really asked them some hard questions about what have we done? What has Salesforce done in terms of revenue efficiency to make it easier for you? So 20% increase in invoice accuracy because our invoices and our quotes absolutely match, right? 28% higher scores on sales order acceptance because we try to really integrate the finance person into the approval process versus waiting for them to get it downstream and then have a problem with it, right? 34% more in forecast accuracy if your CFO or your CEO is coming to you and asking you to forecast the next deal. How do you do that out of your ERP? You need to be in the Salesforce system to actually the forecast. And so how do we get that data back to you in an efficient manner? 39% increase in deal compliance, right? Actually having the deals match the patterns that you expect, that your revenue recognition systems expect, that your ERP systems expect, that your provisioning systems expect on the back end. And then finally, 42% pricing compliance, because we know that every salesperson loves to give discounts as a vehicle to get the job done. And so how can we control what the salespeople are doing and give them some flexibility, let them feel empowered, but also put that governance on top of them and not cause undue stress for the finance teams around on the back. So it's really through the process of lifecycle completion and integration that Salesforce Revenue Cloud has tried to accomplish this. And as we strive down the roadmap and the process that we're building out, working with Kyle and his team and the folks in the field, we're really trying to drive that efficiency all the way through the system and then back into your ERP systems. So Kyle, I think that was the end of my slides.
Thanks, Mike. Just kind of bringing it all back home, these statistics you're seeing on your screen right now are evidence of what happens when you optimize your revenue operations chain. And the side benefit is that you get a lot of your time back as well. It's kind of like you invest your time in the right space. So I'm going to jump back real quick and make a couple remarks on, the people involved. This takes a coordinated effort within your organization to optimize. This needs to be planned by all groups represented here on this slide and can't be planned by one of them. Otherwise, you don't optimize the entire chain, right? Once you do optimize that chain, then everybody's life becomes a little bit easier by reducing the manual reconciliation. And then your business improves a lot, which pays for the tool itself, through these types of statistics.